She's so fine. Hell of her blows my mind. Hell of her lights my day.
What's good, guys? This story is coming out of Buffalo, New York, and I want to thank Marie722 for sending it to me. Former Buffalo officer who stopped fellow cop's chokehold on suspect will get pension after winning lawsuit. A former Buffalo police officer who said she was fired for intervening when a white officer attempted to choke a black suspect will receive her pension after winning a lawsuit on yesterday. The New York State Supreme Court vacated a previous ruling upholding the firing of Carol Horn, CBS affiliate WIVB-TV reports. In his ruling, Judge Dennis Ward wrote, quote, "The City of Buffalo has recognized the error and has acknowledged the need to undo an injustice from the past. The legal system can at the very least be the mechanism to help justice prevail, even if belatedly," end quote. Quote, "While the Eric Garners and the George Floyds of the world never had a chance for a do-over, at least here the correction can be done," end quote, Ward wrote. Horn gained national attention in 2006 when she said she stopped Officer Greg Kwiatkowski's chokehold on Neil Mack.
Floyd's death has put a spotlight on police brutality, and it's also raised questions about when police officers should stop being bystanders and step in. But back in 2006 in Buffalo, New York, a black police officer did exactly that. Officer Carol Horn stopped a white colleague from choking a suspect during an arrest, and she got fired for it. Officials at the time claimed that Officer Horn put her fellow officers at risk, including the white police officer whose chokehold she stopped. Well, now, more than a decade later, the Buffalo City Council has voted to ask the State Attorney General, Letitia James, to reinvestigate Horn's firing. I want to know what you thought as you watched the video of George Floyd.
It was heartbreaking because I know that he did not have to die had one of those officers stepped in and intervened. And, from my situation, I understand that I did stop the chokehold, and he does live. So for me, it was really heartbreaking, and I cried for 2 days trying to understand why no one would listen to me. Because if police brutality is the problem, then I figured out the solution, which would be Carol's law. I should not have lost my pension for doing what was right.
Yeah, you had served 19 years, right? You were 1 year shy of your pension. And I see your shirt there. It says George Floyd needed Carol Horn. But you watched the video and there was no one stepping in, right? And I wonder if you can tell us what it was like for you in that moment to make that decision. What was your thought process when you decided to step in?
Well, I yelled to him. I said, "Greg, you're choking him," thinking that, whatever happened in the house, that he would come back to reality and stop doing what he was doing. And he didn't stop. So I grabbed his arm from around Neil Mack's neck, and, they fabricated a story. But I never jumped on his back like they said. I simply grabbed his arm from around Neil Mack's neck because Neil Mack was already handcuffed, so there was enough officers there to control the situation.
What do you think, Carol, should be done to, or happen to, officers who do not intervene?
Well, like I said, under Carol's law, they will be prosecuted because you would have the duty to intervene. You cannot stand around and watch someone kill someone, watch someone die. You would have to intervene. And it would be a registry, so you can't go from department to department with a history of abuse.
So that there's a way to track folks, right, as they move from one area
Exactly.
to another. I wonder for you, you are here, you made a decision at considerable personal penalty, right, to try to make sure that you save the life of somebody. And then you watch that in Minneapolis not happen. I wonder what you think the message, though, was sent I'm sure police officers beyond where you work heard about you, right? What message was sent to police officers when you were fired for intervening?
The message was sent that you don't cross that blue line. And so some officers, many officers don't.
You think it's changed, Carriel?
I think that it's changing. I think that I am here to help change it. So that is why I thought of Carriel's Law, because I want to be the change. I don't want any officer to go through what I have gone through in order to save someone's life. Like, I lost everything. I had 5 children, and I lost everything. But Neil Mack did not lose his life. So if I have nothing else to live for in life, at least I can know that I did the right thing and that Neil Mack still breathes.
Can I ask you really quickly, Carriel, are you feeling good about the chance that your good name could be restored and that you might be able to receive your pension?
Yes. I hope that the mayor does the right thing, because, like I said, no officer should go through what I've gone through for doing the right thing.
Neil Mack looked like he was about to die, Horn told CBS This Morning in an interview in 2020. So had I not stepped in, he possibly could have. He was handcuffed and being choked. She was ultimately fired in 2008, mere months before she was eligible to receive her full pension. Kwiatkowski sued Horn and her lawyer for defamation. In 2011, a judge found that Horn's lawyer made 8 statements that were considered defamatory and false, including the claim that Horn, quote, saved the life of a suspect who was already in handcuffs and was being choked out by Officer Greg Kwiatkowski. But Mack maintains that Horn saved his life. Quote, he was choking me. I was handcuffed. Carriel Horn said, quote, you were killing him, Greg, end quote. And she reached over and tried to grab his hand around my neck, Mack told CBS This Morning last year. Mack sued 5 officers involved in his arrest in 2012. A jury found no wrongdoing in the ruling of 5-1. The juror who sided with Mack was the only black person on the jury, reports the Buffalo News. In 2018, Kwiatkowski was sentenced to 4 months in federal prison for a 2009 incident in which he used, quote, unlawful and unreasonable force, end quote, against 4 black teenagers, including slamming their heads into a car. Ward said knowledge was not made available during the original determinations in this case by both the hearing officer and this court. Likewise, the current societal view toward the use of chokeholds and physical force in effecting arrests, along with the city of Buffalo's expression of specific disapproval of such force by legislative enactment, has altered the landscape, Ward added. Horn is eligible for back pay and benefits through August the 4th of 2010. In the interview with CBS, she asked her, Carriel Horn, what her thoughts were during that time. Now, I'm just going to be real honest. Any person that has a conscience and who is used to being a person of integrity, for them, it wouldn't have been a second thought. You have to consider that person was her partner, or at least she was familiar with him. And you think about your coworkers at work. When they're doing something wrong, I correct them. You know what I'm saying? So it would have been the same situation. It's unfortunate that he did put a little extra on the story, talking about she jumped on his back, etc. But you would expect no less. So I think it's really good what she's doing. I know there's also a petition on change.org regarding this Carriel's Law. And that would be great. Because just like in the incident with Daunte Wright, had Kim Potter decided to leave Minnesota and not be charged with anything, she could have taken a job somewhere else and immediately been hired and nobody would have a clue. You see it a lot in Chicago on the officer website that's supposed to promote transparency. A lot of these officers have been convicted multiple times of excessive force, and they just move from district to district. So I am fully in support of a registry that would allow someone to track these officers. So I'm going to end the story on that note. But I'm so glad that she is going to be able to get her pension, etc. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a great night.